Hello everyone, my name is Jesus Torres and thank you so much for joining today's discussion at Rational Angles. Have you ever heard something like that the United States is a capitalist country and people don't like it because all people care about is money? Have you heard that before? I want to talk about that because I don't think we're capitalist anymore, or we're not 100% capitalist. Let's talk about that, but before we do, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. It would really help me out. So let's talk about today's topic. Are we still a capitalist country? We've all heard that we are currently a capitalist country and that because of that, companies want to keep all the money. I've even talked about that before. But have you ever stopped to actually look at what is the definition of capitalism? Because capitalism will be the free flow of money for the sake of making profit. What that means is that people with the best ideas, the best companies, they're the ones that are going to survive. They're going to attract the most business, and companies that don't have good ideas, products that are not good, they're not going to sell, they're not going to be able to stay in business. However, it looks more and more like every day we are stepping away from what capitalism truly is, which is driven by market forces. If you stop and think about it, there are several examples. Let's talk about farming. If you look at farming, farmers get subsidies to be able to stay in business, and they get massive subsidies for this. We're not talking about a farmer being able to sell their stuff to stores and the best one wins. A lot of them are subsidized heavily so that they can stay in business, and they'll have government contracts too, like milk. They'll have contracts to sell milk to schools. And another example we can think about is electric cars. For example, electric cars get subsidies because the government under Joe Biden, for example, wanted to push electric cars. And then once Trump came into office, they didn't want to do that, so they wanted to do away with them. But then they shifted to promoting Tesla cars. But at the same time, if you look at technology news, you'll see that there's a lot of other companies doing electrical cars. They're manufacturing electrical cars. And one of them that we hear a lot about, which is not allowed to come to the United States because of tariffs, is called BYD. It's an electric company that you'll see online, if you follow it, news that say that it is able to charge real fast, and an electric charge lasts for a lot more miles than a Tesla. So if we were truly a capitalist country, then you would have a competition where BYD would be able to come in and compete with Tesla and other companies. Another thing is that we have several companies, for example, in the communications industry, which people would consider monopolies. And in a true capitalist economy, you wouldn't just be able to have a monopoly, because a monopoly in itself means that the company dictates the prices, the type of services, the quality, and the customer doesn't have a voice, which is the complete opposite of what a capitalist economy is. And there's many other examples. Can you think of any other examples that, when you find out what capitalism means, show that we are no longer truly a capitalist country? There are aspects that are capitalist, in my opinion, but there's a lot of also monopolies and subsidies which take away the market driver, which is supposed to dictate if companies stay afloat or if they fail. I'd like to know your opinion about this. Let me know what you think. Please comment, talk about this, share the video and like. And until next time, my name is Jesus Torres, and have a great rest of your day.